Hi, welcome to Recipe for Weight Loss. It is Monday, March 15th, 2010. My name is Nancy and I'm your Monday vlogger. And this week we are talking about our children's eating habits and their diets and things like that, what they normally eat. Now, since I have a 2-year-old, his eating habits are kind of still being established right now. I have a very, very picky eater who takes after me. I was a very picky eater as a child, and as a result, I had to be forced to eat, which I think contributed heavily to some of my my issues with food. And the thing that I noticed about my son, well, children in general, they're very intuitive eaters. They are built with this off switch that when they're full or when they're no longer interested in eating, they just stop eating. And it's really the parent's job to pay attention to those signals and to not force the child to eat more than they should. And this is something that I'm aware of, but it's still sometimes very, very hard when I see my son doesn't eat. You know, he doesn't eat hardly anything. And I wonder, like, why doesn't he want to eat? And so my natural maternal instinct is to push him and to try to coerce him to eat more food. But he's done eating. He doesn't want to eat. And we are all built with this natural ability to stop eating when at the time that it is that we no longer need the food. And I don't want to destroy that for him. I want him to keep that because it was destroyed for me and so many others, I'm sure, whose parents force them or push them or encourage them to eat one more bite or just finish up your plate or whatever. So I don't push him to eat when he doesn't want to eat. I will offer him, I'll ask him, do you want this instead? Do you want a piece of bread? Do you want, whatever, nuts? If he doesn't want to eat his chicken or whatever it is and he didn't get any protein, I'll try to offer him nuts and see if he would want that. But when he says no, I just say, okay, all done, fine. And I taught him to say all done when he's done. And the other thing that I noticed is that he really likes home cooked food. I'm not a great cook by any means, but he definitely prefers food that has been prepared in our kitchen, that I've prepared and made for him, as opposed to any restaurant food. If I make something like chicken and rice and vegetables, he will eat that. He really, really enjoys that kind of food. And another thing that I'm trying to learn how to do, or how not to do, I should say, is trying to associate, and Dawn was talking about this on Thursday, which she kind of touched on it a little bit for herself as a child. And I know that a lot of us as children, when we're sad or upset or, whatever, something was bothering us, if somebody offered you a piece of chocolate or some ice cream to make you feel better, you did feel better. And it's like you start to build this connection that food makes you feel better. Or, when there's a gathering, get together, when you're celebrating a birthday, when you're celebrating Easter or Christmas or anything, you eat. Food is always there. And although there are some of those things that I cannot prevent, because that's going to be the case, we are going to eat at Thanksgiving, we are going to eat at birthdays, but the thing that I'm really trying to avoid is that when I see that my son is upset, I don't want to offer him food as some kind of a compensation. I don't want to say, well, I'm sorry that you're upset that you lost your toy, but how about let's get some ice cream, you know? And it takes a lot in me not to do that because it's hard. I mean, it's like, you know, I want to give him stuff that tastes good, and I want to feed him ice cream because it brings me joy to see his face enjoying, you know, to see him enjoying the ice cream and see him all messy and licking up. I mean, he loves sweets. That kid has a sweet tooth just like his mom. And so, you know, it really takes everything in me to try not to associate food with emotion. It's just really, really difficult. And I want him to grow up thinking of food as what it is. It's food. It's just food. And even though I maybe don't have those, I do have those associations, and I always will to some extent. I want to try to minimize that for him if at all possible. So I'm still learning, and I make a lot of mistakes. I find myself, if he eats more food, the more food he eats, I find myself saying, good job, because I want to see him eating, I want to see him growing. That's just my maternal instinct. But then I'm like, I kind of slap myself on the hand and I say, don't do that. Don't do that. So it's a learning process for me, and I'm really excited to see, you know, how Marianne tomorrow, you know, deals with her 4-year-old, which, you know, mine is going to be 4 in a couple of years, so it'll be interesting. All the ladies this week have children of different ages, so I'm really excited to hear what everybody has to say. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will see you next Monday.